that name in the paper for basketball, I believe. Good basketball player for the Salamanca Warriors. They have a good basketball program in general, but he was one of the key players for that team that made a deep run into the basketball playoffs. And there's strike two on the outside part of the plate, so Austin up no balls and 2 strikes. Big lanky kid, Garrett.
Yeah.
Herrick is.
Can make it tough on him sometimes, and him being so big, that strike zone is going to naturally get bigger. And he just has to protect whenever, pitch is close. And that one was very close.
And Austin thought that was strike number 3, but just on the outside part of the plate. So 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second, no score. No base runners on. And that's going to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good waste on 2 pitches there by Austin, Garrett. I thought, the umpire's giving you that outside part of the plate. Might as well try to ring him up on that.
Yeah, and he's done it now 3 times in a row. He tried with a fastball first, and now he's going to the breaking ball. He had a lot of options there on that 2-2 pitch, but one with the breaking ball, it just was a little too far outside. Now he has to come at Herrick here and try and get out of this 1-2-3.
And there's a well hit to left field, and Dylan Michael is underneath it. And CSP goes 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the second. And after 2, there's no score from Salamanca, New York. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Clymer Hardware and Home Center, serving the Clymer area since 1873 with all your hardware needs at 8746 West Main Street and online at clymerhardwareandhomecenter.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack from Clymer Hardware and Home Center.
Welcome back to CSP Wolfpack Baseball on Channel 98.9 and Facebook Live. I'm Kyle Hinsdale, joined by Garrett Hinsdale, and after 2 innings here in Salamanca, there's no score, and CSP is going to come to the plate with batters 1, 2, and 3, so the top of their order here in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to fare better than what they did in the 1st inning. Austin started off the game with a base hit into left field, and but nobody else was able to drive him in after that. And they were the only team so far to leave a runner in scoring position. So they're going to want to try and get back to that. We know how good at the top of the order is here for the Wolfpack, and we just need to be able to cash in some runs here and be the first ones to draw blood.
So as Garrett mentioned, Austin 1 for 1 today. Single back in the 1st. Today's starting pitcher for the Wolfpack, so he can help himself out here a little by getting on base. And I think that hit his foot. So CSP gets the leadoff runner here in the top of the 3rd inning. And that's going to bring Bryce Hinsdale to the plate. And we'll see if Coach Moreno wants to play a little small ball here and bunt Austin White to second.
Well, with the hitting struggles that Bryce has been in, I wouldn't be surprised if he lays one down.
And he squares but pulls back for ball 1.
We don't want to have one that's popped up in the infield. You can see the third baseman on the live stream. He's playing way in, so we'll see. Bryce has good enough speed to maybe beat out one.
And there's one for a strike. You know, he lives with us, Garrett, and I have no idea whose shoes he has on. I have not seen those shoes this year, and I don't know where he got those.
I don't know how they're that white. That's the question. I don't know how they're that clean is something that you should be asking.
Yeah. We'll talk about that tonight at dinner. So
yeah.
All right, so Bryce, 2 balls and 1 strike. We'll see if he continues to square and try to bunt Austin White over to second.
You know, if I'm Bryce, I see that third baseman playing in, I would try and lay one down the first base side. It makes a tougher play.
And that ball's in the inside, and Austin was stealing, and that's going to get by. That's going to get by Jackson Tarr, and so CSP with a runner in scoring position here in the top of the third, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. So now Bryce will be swinging here. Man, that ball's just on the inside part of the plate. So full count here to the number 2 hitter for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, you can see that shortstop kind of holding Austin on there a little bit. Maybe Bryce can try and send one to the opposite field.
And that ball's way outside for ball 4. So Bryce Hinsdale gets on base for the first time today, and that's going to bring senior from Panama, Gabe Roth, to the plate. As we mentioned, Gabe had a big night at the plate on last night in Pine Valley. Had a big night on the mound on Tuesday night as CSP beat Frewsburg, handing them their first league loss of the year. So nice win for the Wolfpack, and great job. 7 shutout innings for Gabe on Tuesday night, and he looks at ball 1 for his first pitch. No outs, runners at first and second. So CSP's got something cooking here in the top of the third.
That's a terrific play there by the catcher, because that ball was most certainly outside, and it was just, you know, a great play by the catcher to be able to not let the runners advance. And now there's going to be a little meeting on the mound here and try and calm down Urbanski, as he's been a little bit wild here in this inning.
Yeah, Coach Herrick is going to have a brief conversation with his pitcher here to see if we can get him settled down. But he's got 2 runners on, and he's down 2 balls and no strikes to CSP's number 3 hitter, Gabe Roth.
And if CSP does end up scoring in this inning, I don't want to give too much credit to Bryce. But when he was squaring around, there could have been a couple pitches where he could have put down, but there were also pitches where they were outside of the zone and they weren't great to be able to put a bunt down. So he was very selective on what pitch he wanted to put down, because if he puts a bunt up in the air and it gets caught, you know, him bunting makes no sense, and it's a waste. So if they do end up coming to score and they score multiple runs, you could look back at that and say, well, good thing Bryce didn't square around and bunt on something that wasn't really that good of a pitch.
So Urbanski finds the strike zone on his third pitch, and so it's 2 balls and 1 strike. And there's another ball on the outside part of the plate. So it's 3-1 here to Gabe.
And with Trent Burchanowski on deck, I'm not sure how much Salamanca has done scouting, but remember last year at this ballpark is.
And there's a ground ball to short. This could be 2. Bryce slides in and is out at second. So fielder's choice for Gabe Roth, and CSP now has runners at first and third with 1 out.
Well, Salamanca does avoid the bases loaded, but if people remember on the live stream or listening on 98.9, they can remember that Trent Burchanowski hit a home run here in this ballpark in that Far West Regional game. So could have been dangerous with him up to bat with bases loaded, but he's still got some ducks on the pond here. We'll see if Gabe's in motion to maybe get 2 runners in scoring position for the Wolfpack here with only 1 away.
And there goes Gabe, and there's the throw, and that's going to be caught by the shortstop, and Austin White's going to remain at third. So takes the double play out of play, and now CSP with runners at second and third with 1 out here. And that first pitch was a strike to Trent. And that's foul back behind the home plate, so no balls and 2 strikes. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, we'd encourage you to leave us some comments. We will take questions tonight, so feel free to give us a question on Facebook Live, or at least tell us where you're listening from. See if we have any international listeners here tonight, Garrett. We had a few weeks ago, and there's a ground ball to third, and they're going to throw to first. And he pulled his foot, and so Trent Berchanowski is going to be safe, and he's going to have an RBI as that scores Austin White, who is at third base. And CSP with the first run of the game to make it 1-0.
Yeah, it was a good stop by the third baseman. Third baseman today is Tucker. Just a throw that was just a little bit wide and pulled the first baseman's foot off the bag, and Trent was able to get an RBI off that, and CSP draws first blood. And
he really had no, and I think they were willing to give up that run,
yep.
Garrett. He really had no, he never even looked at the third baseman, immediately threw it to first. So, and there's a steal by Gabe Roth, and he's going to get thrown out at third base. So he's going to be caught stealing. Trent did not run on that, and so I don't know if that was a missed sign or Gabe did that on his own, but nice job by Jackson Tarr behind the plate to throw him out at third.
Well, it is tough on the catchers when there's a right-handed batter at the plate, but just a good throw by Tarr to get Gabe, and that was a little bit too aggressive in my opinion by CSP. There must have been a missed sign because normally you would have that as a double steal. But a little bit too aggressive by the Wolfpack, and there's their first base running error today.
And there's a pop-up that's going to be down right field line. Second baseman is going to be back there to catch it. And so CSP threatens here in the third. They leave 1 on, get caught stealing at third base, but they do get 1 across the plate. And after 2.5, the CSP Wolfpack lead by a score of 1-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher's Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Welcome back, where CSP leads by a score of 1-0 over the Salamanca Warriors as we enter the bottom half of the third inning. And Austin White's going to come out for the start of the third. And he's going to face Cole Urbanski, today's starting pitcher for the Warriors.
8-9-1 for Salamanca, so see they can get some runners on at the bottom of the order.
And again, we apologize for some of the technical difficulties we were having at the beginning of the broadcast, but we think we have all of those fixed, and we're back in good graces here. They're swinging a foul tip, so 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, Austin's done a nice job of getting into his rhythm. We always talk about that for these young high school pitchers, is trying to get yourself into a rhythm and not get too wild. And Austin's done a nice job of that, only issuing 1 walk so far in 2 innings. So he's gotten himself off to a good start.
Oh, and that ball looked like it was right at the knees, but called ball low. So to your point earlier, Garrett, looks like outside parts of the plate, whether right or left-handed, you're going to get the call up and down. It's going to be a little bit more of a tighter strike zone. And there's a ground ball to third, and here comes Tate with a big throw, and he's got him. So that's 4 putouts in 2.5 innings for Tate Catanese, and that is out number 1.
Yeah, I mean, that one was a little bit different than the 3 other putouts. What Tate's had to deal with tonight, it was kind of a chopped ball. And he had to step back a little bit, and then he had to kind of gun it over to first, had to really use his arm strength. And he put out Urbanski with no problem.
And that's going to bring number 9, Jason McGraw, to the plate. Number 9 hitter, wearing number 9, playing in the number 9 position in the field, right field. And there's strike number 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. McGraw did not like that call.
No, and that call really hasn't been called all day, to be honest with you. That's a little bit up in the zone, but to me it looks it's about belt high, maybe a little higher than that.
And there's a curveball that didn't curve, so 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. CSP leads by a score of 1-0 after the RBI fielder's choice back in the top half of the third by Trent Burchanowski. And Austin, with that pitch, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Herrick on deck for the Warriors. Ball inside. So full count here to McGraw, the number 9 hitter.
Yeah, that one was up in his kitchen a little bit there. Stepped away, but fought back. Now it's 3-2.
And he stays alive with a foul back behind the press box.
Yeah, and if you're Salamanca here, you got to, Austin's been in that rhythm for the last 2 innings, and he's faced a minimum in the second inning and had 1 walk in the first. But you got to try and get him out of his rhythm, and having long at-bats and multiple pitch at-bats is something that you want.
And McGraw just got a piece of that one, so he stays alive, remains at full count. And it's starting to get a little darker here in Salamanca. The lights are on, so great experience for the kids tonight to play underneath the lights on a fantastic field and playing good competition. And McGraw chases that one out of the zone, and that's out number 2 here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, that was that put-away slider that Austin's got. He's got that over-the-top curveball, but that one stayed in the zone for as long as it could and then broke outside right at the last moment, and McGraw couldn't hold up, and that was a good executed pitch by Austin.
That's going to bring the leadoff batter for the Warriors, Jake Herrick, to the plate, and he's up there first pitch swinging, and that ball's foul for strike 1.
Yeah, he grounded to Tate, as a lot of the other Salamanca Warriors have.
Grounded Tate tonight,
yeah.
Huh? Early game defensive MVP for Tate Catanese.
Yeah. Hopefully he can keep that going.
Ball outside, so 1-1 to number 1.
Yeah, this facility is almost better than the one that Washington Jefferson plays at.
Is it?
Yeah, they don't have any lights down at W&J, so they have all turf, but no lights.
Their pitch is high and inside with a swing and a miss for strike 2, so 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's a pop-up, and that is going to be just out of the reach of Grant Lictus. And so Herrick lives to see another day here, and it's going to be still 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, Garrett, I think as residents of Clymer, Sherman, and Panama, as we think about potential one site for sports complex down the road, I think this would be a great model to look at. If you're a taxpayer in one of those three towns, for sure. Yeah, no question about it, and it excels your sports programs, and it makes it a state-of-the-art program, and it doesn't matter what it is, softball, baseball, football. Maybe there's some other programs that we can add later down the line, like soccer or any other sport like that. But and that ball's going to get out of play, so Herrick stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. But yeah, I agree with you. And, it might be something that needs to be looked at. And if we're looking at an example, it's right here. You don't have to go too far to find a perfect example of what CSP needs to do for their sports programs. And that ball's outside, so Herrick's going to battle back and got a full count here. That's back-to-back batters with a full count. So Salamanca trying to get Austin out of his rhythm. We'll see if he can get out of here 1-2-3. And there's a strike on that outside part of the plate. That's been a strike all game. And CSP goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. And after 3, CSP leads by a score of 1-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
In baseball, these are the moments that bring us to our feet.
But the most important moment happens when we all stand together.
United for a great cause.
So join Major League Baseball and Stand Up to Cancer
as we stand in honor of all loved ones affected by this disease.
I'm Jordana Brewster.
I'm Candace Patton.
Joe Manganello.
I'm Matt Damon. And cancer has in some way touched all of us.
Visit standuptocancer.org/MLB.
Stand up with us.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Welcome back to Salamanca, New York, where CSP Wolfpack lead the Salamanca Warriors by a score of 1-0 as we enter the top of the 4th, and CSP batters are going to face a new pitcher for Southwestern as number 4, Zavon Tucker, enters the circle. So 3 innings for Urbanski, and He's going to move to, we're not sure.
I'm not sure. I can't find a number 7 out there. But I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Yep. So, Tucker's going to face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for your Wolfpack. And his first pitch to Dylan Michaels, a ball outside.
Dylan struck out looking in his first at-bat in the second inning. So we'll see if he can right the ship here and get on base.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. So Tucker comes in relief. And, that's strike 1. Sorry, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ooh, there's a nice curveball in for strike 2. 1 and 2. Blake Kopta on deck for the Wolfpack. That ball's in the dirt. Good stop by Jackson Tarr behind the plate. And that's going to even the count at 2. And there's a curveball in for a strike, swing and a miss. And that's strikeout number 1 for Tucker and out number 1 of the inning. And Blake Kopta is going to come to the plate.
Yeah, that was a heavy dose of breaking balls that entire at-bat. And Dylan just couldn't hold off there. But nice execution by Tucker. And it looks like there's going to be time called. A little meeting between pitcher and catcher here. Trying to get the right sign. It's always tough as a catcher trying to figure out, who throws what when they're coming into a game. And so we'll see. Maybe there's just a miscommunication between the dugout and the catcher and the pitcher. It's a lot of relay have to happen for a pitch to get to the pitcher.
This is game number 3 of the week for the Wolfpack. Come into the game with 2 wins over Frewsburg and Pine Valley. Looking to make it 3-0 on the week.
Yeah, that should give them some good momentum going into the playoffs for sure.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And especially when you're beating good teams. That's when you kind of start to, feel that momentum and that energy shift. When it starts to become playoffs, you feel like you can beat anybody that you're going to face that day.
2 balls and 1 strike. And CSP, this is the final regular season game for the Wolfpack. I think the seeding meeting is tomorrow, so we'll have a good idea of. There's a well-hit ball to short, and there's the put out. So
catcher number 15, Grant.
Good defense there by Salamanca, and that's going to be out number 2 of the inning. And CSP catcher Grant Lictus comes to the plate.
Yeah, nice play by Holleran to just charge that ball and make a nice, easy throw over to first. And Salamanca has already had a bit of a throwing problem among the infielders already to start the game today.
First pitch swinging for Grant, that foul tips off behind the dugout, and so he's down no balls and 1 strike. So in all likelihood, Garrett, CSP will play Tuesday night. The schedule is still undetermined. But Grant sees strike 2. But it looks like CSP will host a game on Tuesday night. That game will be in Clymer at 5 o'clock with the opponent to be determined.
Yeah, with Frewsburg winning last night. As there's a base hit by Grant.
There's a base hit by Grant Lictus. So CSP gets their first base runner of the inning, and good piece of hitting for Grant. See if we can get a little 2-out lightning here in the top of the 4th, and that's going to bring Caden Beckrink to the plate.
Yeah, that's just the breaking ball that was left hanging by Tucker, and Grant just slapped it the other way. And that's, if you're a left-handed batter in this lineup, you see a breaking ball on the outside, that's exactly what you need to do.
There's a swing and a miss for Caden Beckrink for strike 1. I just realized that, Garrett, with Grant now moved into that spot in front of Caden, CSP actually goes 4 straight batters that are left-handed.
Yeah, they got a good mix, and you don't see that very often.
And there's a ground ball to first, and good play by the first baseman. And that's going to be out number 3. So CSP gets a hit by Grant Lictus, but he's stranded at first base. And after 3.5, the Wolfpack leads 1-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
This Wolfpack broadcast is brought to you in part by Cornerstone Restaurant and Bakery at 104 East Main Street in Sherman. The Cornerstone offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and baked goods. The phone number is 716-234-4002, or find them on Facebook. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks the Cornerstone in Sherman for their support.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Clymer Hardware and Home Center. Serving the Clymer area since 1873 with all your hardware needs at 8746 West Main Street and online at ClymerHardwareandHomeCenter.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack from Clymer Hardware and Home Center.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Welcome back to Salamanca, New York, where CSP is playing the Salamanca Warriors, and CSP, after 3.5 innings, leads by a score of 1-0. So low-scoring game here through 3.5, and CSP is going to see 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Salamanca, and that means number 2, Jordan Ambuski, is going to come to the plate, lefty.
Yeah, he grounded to the second baseman, Trent Burchanowski, in his first at-bat.
And there's a curveball on the outside part of the plate. That outside, 3-4 inches outside, as we've mentioned, is part of the strike zone today. And no balls and 1 strike. And Austin tried to go 2 or 3 inches more outside, and that one didn't get the call.
No.
So 1-1 here to Ambuski. And that ball's high and outside. So 2 balls and 1 strike here. Bottom of the 4th, no outs. CSP leads by a score of 1-0 on a fielder's choice ground ball by Trent Burchanowski, who scored Austin White back in the top of the 3rd. And there's a ground ball, slow ground ball to short, and that's going to be an infield hit for Ambuski, and that's going to bring Jackson Ross to the plate.
Yeah, just a tough play. Just got over the head. The ball just got over the head of Austin White as he was trying to play his position. Just got a little bit over his head, and that's always a tough play for the shortstop when you're running in like that. And good hustle there by Ambuski to beat out the throw if there would be a throw. But that's an infield hit for him, and Salamanca's got their first base runner of the inning.
Yep, leadoff runner on, and that's going to bring big DH Jackson Ross to the plate. We'll see how aggressive Salamanca wants to be with Ambuski at first, and immediately he takes off, and that's going to be, he's going to slide in safe. So stolen base for Ambuski, and that's going to get him in scoring position. I believe, Garrett, that's the first runner for Salamanca in scoring position today. So
yep, you would be correct.
We'll see what Ross can do with that. If at the very least Ross wants to hit the ball to the right side of the field, that'll advance that runner. And there's a ball, foul. That was well hit down the first base line, but foul.
Well, Dad, over the last 3 games that I've been doing these games, Jackson Ross is the only kid that looks like he could send one 400 feet out into center field.
He does. He does. That the yardage down the right field line is 315, so he's capable of doing that, I'm sure. And here's the 0-2 pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, so that's a massive strikeout for Austin White. And that's going to be out number 1 of the inning. And that's a big out, and that's going to bring Zavon Tucker, the cleanup hitter for the Salamanca, to the plate. He came in relief for pitching back in the top half of the 4th.
Yeah, and you talk about that strikeout, massive strikeout. He just went back to the fastball after Ross smoked the breaking ball down the line. He went back to that fastball and got him.
Yeah,
got
and it
swinging.
Was well positioned. It was an 0-2 count. Garrett and Austin threw the fastball high, and Ross just was not able to catch up to it.
Yep.
And so that brings Tucker to the plate, and he looks at ball 1 for his first pitch. And Buskey being held on at second by the Wolfpack, and that ball's low and outside for ball 2. That first pitch, Garrett, was in the dirt. Good job by Grant Lictus to block that and keep Ambuski at second.
Yeah, because if he does reach third with only 1 out, anything to the outfield, doesn't matter if it's an out or a hit, we'll score a run. So it's important to keep him out there on second with only 1 out. And Tucker's going to call time. Austin was really worried about that runner on second. Ambuski was getting a lead, gradually bigger lead. But we'll see if there's a pickoff play here. We got to be careful because there's most of the overthrows in high school baseball are to a pickoff at second.
And that ball is in the dirt, and that gets by Grant. And just as we were talking, that's going to move Ambuski to third base.
Yeah, put it in play, Z. Let's go.
So we'll see if Coach Moreno, leading 1-0, brings the infield in. Or willing to give up that run. And it looks like he is going to bring the infield in, Garrett. So anything on the ground, if you're on the infield, the worst thing you want to do is knock it down.
Yep.
And that ball is outside for ball 4. So Salamanca's got something going here in the bottom of the 4th. With runners at first and second, and CSP will now revert back to its traditional defensive positions as they hope to potentially turn a double play if possible. But I would imagine that Tucker at first base is going to be taken off here quickly, Garrett.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, but it looks like he's staying still.
And
that one's called a strike.
There's a strike, so as we mentioned, when you've got runners at first and third, not advancing that runner from first on a steal puts double play into play. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th, so CSP looking for a ground ball to second or short to see if they can turn that double play. And that's a foul down the first base line. So it's going to make it 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, they just about got it there. It was just a little too early on that pitch, and I'm interested because Salamanca, if you saw in the last at bat, they did show bunt. Yet it was ball 3. They did show bunt there, so they may be playing some small ball here at some point later on, maybe a suicide squeeze or something like that.
Jackson Tarr, today's catcher for the Warriors, is up the plate, and there he goes. Tucker goes, and that ball is going to be foul, so Tucker's going to have to make his way back to first. Neither Tucker or Tarr look to be, fast runners, I think. So there definitely is the opportunity there. Now with 1 ball and 2 strikes, see if Austin can take care of this himself. And there's a hard foul ball, and Coach Herrick's got to be on his toes down there at third base because his player's trying to hit him.
Well, you can tell that that Tar is on that fastball. If I'm Austin here and you're up 1-2, probably the runner's going to be moving anyway. You might as well throw him an off speed, see if you can get him to fish or be early on the pitch.
Yeah, he's jumping on that fastball.
Yes,
so
he
we'll
is.
see if Coach Moreno sees the same thing and Austin see the same thing and maybe make a change here. So here's the 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that's exactly what that was. That was an off-speed pitch just on the outside part of the plate. And I believe that makes it 2-2.
Yeah, that's a great pitch execution. It's not enough where it catches enough of the plate to be able to be hit, but it's just outside enough.
And there's a big swing and a miss for strikeout number 2 of the inning. So great job by CSP pitcher Austin White as he's getting himself out of a little bit of a jam here with 2 big strikeouts. And with runners at second and third, that's going to bring Corry Holloran to the plate.
He's not out of the woods quite yet. He just needs to get 1 more here.
And there's a first pitch strike. CSP leading 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Salamanca threatening with runners at second and third. 2 outs, so CSP looking to get a ground ball or pop fly here. And there's a ball outside. Good job by Grant Lictus getting out and stopping that and keeping the ball in front of him.
Yeah, if I'm Coach Moreno and I'm looking at you're going to leave Austin White in for 4 innings and you're going to be having the lead. That's something that, you hope that happens, and they're on track for that right now.
There's a slow roller back to first, and Austin's going to take care of it himself, and CSP gets out of a massive jam here in the bottom of the 4th. Salamanca leaves 2 runners stranded, and after 4, Wolfpack lead 1-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Welcome back to Salamanca, New York, where we're under the lights for a non-league game between CSP Wolfpack and the Salamanca Warriors. And after 4 innings, CSP leads by a score of 1-0. And CSP is going to bring the top of their order to the plate here in the top of the 5th. So that means Austin White, Bryce Hinsdale, and Gabe Roth will be the first 3 batters that Zavon Tucker will see today in this 5th inning. Tucker came in relief back in the 4th. And there's a curveball on the outside part of the plate for strike one.
Yeah, if I'm the CSP hitters right now, all that Tucker's really throwing are breaking balls, so you got to sit back and drive it the other way.
And there's another one, Garrett, and Austin swings and misses, so he's down no balls and 2 strikes here early. Austin, I think, 1 for 1 with a
hit by pitch. Yep.
Hit by pitch, so he's been on base both times he's been at bat today. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So 3 pitches. 3 pitches for Tucker, and all 3 strikes. And so 1 out quickly here in the 5th, and that's going to bring Bryce Hinsdale to the plate. Let's see if he's been paying attention and can do something with this curveball, and that's strike number 1. So 4 straight strikes for Tucker here in the 5th, working efficiently from the stretch. And there's a ground ball, slow roller to first, and that's going to be out number 2. So
number 4,
typical Bryce grounding hard to the first baseman, and that's going to be 2 outs, quickly 2 outs here in the 5th.
Yeah, it's
and Gabe Roth's going to come to the plate.
Just the off-speed pitches that are fooling the Wolfpack hitters right now. And Bryce was just 2 out ahead of that one and chopped it down the first base side. That one looked really good for Tucker, but he doesn't get the call.
1 ball, no strikes. That was his first ball of the inning, Garrett.
Yeah.
And there's a well-hit ball to left field, but the left fielder is underneath it, and that's going to be a very efficient out or inning for Tucker. And CSP goes 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 5th. And after 4.5, CSP leads by a score of 1-0. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Clymer Hardware and Home Center. Serving the Clymer area since 1873 with all your hardware needs at 8746 West Main Street and online at ClymerHardwareandHomeCenter.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack from Clymer Hardware and Home Center.
Welcome back to beautiful Salamanca, New York, where we're playing under the lights tonight against the Salamanca Warriors, and CSP, after 4.5 innings, lead by a score of 1-0. And CSP is going to have a new pitcher into the game as Bryce Hinsdale moves from his first base position to the mound, and that's going to have some defensive changes. As Blake Copta is going to go to first. Austin White, after pitching 4 shutout innings here today, is going to move to short, and that's going to move Gabe Roth to center field. So some defensive movement as the lefty sophomore from Panama comes into the game to see if he can hang on to a 1-0 lead as we enter the bottom half of the 5th inning. And as Bryce enters the game, he's going to see hitters 7, 8, and 9 for the Warriors.
Yeah, if you're Coach Marino, that's all you can ask of Austin is 4 shutout innings. And that's kind of his limit is 4 innings. And now you can hand it over to Bryce and see if he can get through this game and hopefully some run insurance over the next few innings and just pitch as well as Austin did in the first 4.
And you're kind of seeing all of CSP's pitchers this week. You saw Gabe on Tuesday night. You saw Tate Catanese and Trent Burchanowski last night. And tonight you're seeing Austin White. And tonight you're seeing Austin White and Bryce Hinsdale.
Yeah, it's going to be important that Bryce finishes downhill on the mound and doesn't going high and outside, and he's going to get the outside calls, and that's where he likes to live most of the time as he gets a strike 1 there.
So this is number 12, Andy Herrick, at the plate for the Warriors. And there's a curveball just high for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, it's a pretty good executed pitch there by Bryce. If, he don't be afraid to go back there just because the ump didn't give you the call. And it looks like that hit the umpire there.
Yep, I think so. That pass ball hit the umpire, so it's going to be 2 balls and 1 strike.
Herrick flew out to left field in his at-bat in the 2nd inning.
Here's the 2-1, and there's a swing and a miss for strike 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes on Herrick. CSP with a 1-0 lead as we face the first batter of the 5th inning. And that ball's fouled back. So Herrick stays alive. 2-2.
Yeah, Bryce decided to go with the fastball there. I was talking with him earlier last week, and he was talking how he's kind of developed this slurve is what he likes to call it, and we'll see if he wants to go here. Looks like he did, just a little bit too far inside.
So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter for Salamanca. Important, Garrett, to get this leadoff runner or batter. Don't want to give them a leadoff base runner.
Yeah.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So good pitch for Bryce Hinsdale. 1 batter, 1 strikeout. And that's going to bring a pinch hitter in, Corry Bish, for the Warriors.
Yeah, that's that slurve I was talking about. It really catches most of the zone the entire way and then just breaks right at the end. And it's got the horizontal movement, but it also has the vertical movement as well. So good executed pitch there, and Bryce is starting to get into a rhythm here as he gets the first pitch strike.
And there's a ground ball foul. So Bryce up early, no balls and 2 strikes on the pitch hitter, Bish, for the Warriors. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Fine, Bryce, this pitch isn't anywhere near the zone. Don't want to give him a hit on 0-2. And there it is.
High fastball for ball 1. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I think if you're Coach Moreno, Garrett, couldn't have asked for a better kind of warm-up game to get ready for the playoffs. Yeah. This is good stuff here. And there's a great curveball on the outside part of the plate that has Bish looking. And so two batters, 2 strikeouts for Bryce Hinsdale. And that's going to bring number 9, Jason McGraw, to the plate.
Yeah, he struck out in the 3rd inning in his last at-bat, but that was just a terrific backdoor breaking ball by Bryce. And he's getting into a rhythm, and he's really locating his breaking pitches very well.
First pitch is a fastball low for ball 1. And there's a pop-up on the infield part of the plate, and Bryce is calling it himself, and he makes the catch. So CSP goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 5th, and after 5, they lead by the score of 1-0. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Welcome back, where CSP leads after 5 innings by a score of 1-0, and we enter the top of the 6th inning, where Zavon Tucker will face 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Wolfpack, which means Trent Burchanowski is going to lead it off for us, and he hits a high fly ball to center field, and center fielder is made that a little bit harder than it needed to be, I think, but he made the catch. And so long out for Trent. And 1 pitch, 1 out here in the top of the 6th. We do want to thank, you hear them during the inning breaks, but we want to thank all of our sponsors. They make this possible, and appreciate their support to us and to CSP Wolfpack Baseball. And if you're in and around the towns that these sponsors are in, I ask that you please support them as they support our kids in all 3 communities. And that ball's foul for Tate, and it's going to be 1 ball and 1 strike to the sophomore from Panama.
Yeah, Tate's 0 for 2 today, so he's going to be looking to get on base for his first time.
And there's a pop-up just beyond first base. Second baseman calls him off, and he goes over there and makes the catch. So out number 2.
Number 3, Dylan.
So Tucker comes in relief back in the 4th, and he's been automatic as far as outs go. He's been very good for the Salamanca Warriors, and that's going to bring Dylan Michael to the plate with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, he's really his number 1 pitch is his breaking ball, and that's what's fooling the CSP hitters. They're not staying back on it, and that's allowing them to get underneath the ball and popping it up either the opposite way or just popping it up in general. And I don't think the CSP hitters have realized that they just need to drive that ball to right field and keep it on a line drive.
And there's a breaking ball in for a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And Garrett, this is where, as you're sitting in the dugout, you don't want to be messing around. This is where you could be watching what's going on. And if you're a CSP hitter, I'm coming to the plate knowing that Tucker probably 4 out of 5 pitches is a curveball.
Yep.
And so now I'm just kind of sitting on that. But he's been very effective, and there's a curve in for a swing and a miss. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to the senior from Clymer.
No, that's right. That's all about your preparation on deck as well. You just got to see the pitches as they're coming in and get your timing down and your rhythm down. And Tucker's done a nice job of kind of throwing off the rhythm of the CSP hitters in his 3 innings, now 3 innings of work. Dylan's done a nice job here, though, of fighting back and getting it to a full count.
Yep, full count. Here's the payoff pitch, and that ball is inside. So that curve did not curve. And Tucker was looking for that strike and didn't get it. So
Number 8, Blake Kopta.
His first walk of the game, and that's going to bring Blake Kopta to the plate.
Yeah, if Blake can get something into the gap here, Dylan's fast enough where he's going to be able to get around and possibly score. So we'll see if Blake can do that. He's got to know that the curveball's coming. So he's got to sit back and wait on it and hopefully drive it into right center field or even down the line in right field.
Blake in the box. Grant Lictus, who singled back in the 4th inning, is on deck. And there it was. Garrett in for a nice strike. So no balls and 1 strike. Here in the top of the 6th, CSP leads 1-0 with 2 outs and a runner on first. And ball hung out there and didn't curve on for Tucker, and that's going to be ball 1-1.
Yeah, nice job by Blake to bring the bat down as well. Sometimes you'll see with breaking balls, they'll clip the bat, and that'll be considered a foul ball.
And there's a good job by Blake waiting on that curveball, but just foul down third base line. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, Garrett, this is such a beautiful night. We should just play 2 tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but Blake's definitely on this curveball. If he gets another one up in the zone, you might see this one driven to left field.
And there he reaches, and this may be trouble, Garrett. And he's going to be safe. So infield single for Blake Kopta, kind of a nubbler off the end of the bat, and just came into a bad spot on the infield. And that's going to bring Grant Lictus to the plate. CSP with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here. Yeah. See if Grant back in the 4th inning with a slapper to left field for a base hit, and see if we can do that again.
Yeah, I don't even know if Blake meant to swing there, to be honest with you, but it works out, and there's a strike on Grant. We'll see if he can do the same here. If he slaps one to left field, that's going to score Dylan. We talked about how fast he is. If one gets in the gap when he was on first, he's most definitely scoring if one gets to the outfield.
And there's a maybe base hit, and it's going to be a infield single again. So 2 straight infield singles for the Wolfpack. Good piece of hitting by Grant Lictus. He's now 2 straight hits for Grant, and Coach Herrick wants to come out and have a little discussion with Tucker. You know, CSP's not hitting the ball hard, Garrett. They're just making contact and putting ball in play and making Salamanca make defensive plays. And although the ball's not necessarily getting out of the infield, they have yet to be able to get, these last 2 batters haven't been able to get an out. So CSP is going to have bases loaded here with 2 outs, and Caden Beckerink's going to come to the plate, the lefty for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the second baseman, though. That ball looked like it was going to 100% be a hit and through and get into the outfield to easily score a run for the Wolfpack, but a nice sliding stop by the second baseman.
Probably saves a run.
Yeah, 100% saves a run, and just a nice play. Even though he didn't get an out, there's still 2 outs for Salamanca, so they can go anywhere with this ball, but some pressure being put on Tucker. This is really the most pressure he's had in his outing so far.
And there's a first pitch strike to Caden Beckerink on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. CSP, all of this with 2 outs here in the 6th inning, looking to do some damage and add some insurance runs, and that ball's high and outside for ball 1-1.
Yeah, it could most definitely help Bryce out a little bit, him being on the mound, coming in relief, to know he's got some insurance runs. So we'll see if Caden can come through here.
That ball is in the dirt, and good job by Jackson Tarr blocking that, and that's probably saved a run as well, Garrett.
Yeah, it looked like it hit he really wasn't in a blocking position, but he stood up and it kind of hit his leg pad. So nice block there.
2 balls. Now it's 3 balls and 1 strike, and Tucker's got no place to put him, so he's got to throw a strike here.
Yeah, if I'm Caden, I'm really patient here.
This has got to be perfect,
it
right? It
has to be perfect. You'll live to see 3-2.
And that ball's outside for ball 4. So CSP gets their insurance run based on balls, and that's going to bring the top of the order to the plate with the bases still loaded and 2 outs. As I mentioned, all of this action with 2 outs. First 2 batters were out relatively easily in this inning. So there's a swing and a miss for strike 1 for Austin White, today's starting pitcher.
Yeah, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, they were all able to get on, and now the 9 hitter as well. So a little bit of the bottom of the order 2-out rally is really starting this off for CSP. We'll see if Austin can drive in a little bit more here.
And that ball is going to get away from Tar, and here comes Blake, and he's going to be safe. So CSP with their second run of the inning, and that's going to make it 3-0. So adding some insurance runs, much-needed insurance runs here in the top of the 6th, as Tar was unable to block that ball in the dirt. And that's going to now be 1 ball and 1 strike. Now runners at second and third. And there's a ground ball to first, and the first baseman makes a nice play and steps on the bag for out number 3. So CSP strands 2, but they get 2 across the plate and lead by a score of 3-0 after 5.5. We'll be right back after we pay some bills.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
In baseball, these are the moments that bring us to our feet.
But the most important moment happens when we all stand together.
United for a great cause.
So join Major League Baseball and stand up to cancer
As we stand in honor of all loved ones affected by this disease.
I'm Jordana Brewster.
I'm Candace Patton.
Joe Manganiello.
I'm Matt Damon, and cancer has in some way touched all of us.
Visit standuptocancer.org/MLB.
Stand up with us.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Welcome back to the campus of Salamanca Central School, where we've got a real fantastic game under the lights here, where CSP leads by a score of 3-0 after putting 2 across the board in the top of the 6th. And that's going to bring us to the bottom of the 6th, where Bryce Hinsdale came in relief of Austin White, who pitched 4 shutout innings. And Bryce is going to face, for his second inning of the game, he's going to face 1, 2, and 3 hitters for the Warriors.
Yeah, we'll see. This should be a test for Bryce. He's going to see at least one left-handed batter, so that should give CSP the advantage. Actually, 2. He's going to face the number 2 hitter is also left-handed, along with the 3 hitters left-handed. So we'll see how he fares against the top of the order after he did it himself in the last inning with 2 strikeouts and a catch on a pop-out.
So that first pitch to Jake Herrick is ball outside, so 1-0 to start off this inning. That pitch is low for ball 2, so 2-0 early here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, you don't want to issue any walks to the top of the order because that's when some rallies can get started. So we'll see if he can find the strike zone here, and he doesn't.
So Bryce down early, 3 balls and no strikes to the leadoff batter here in the 6th. And if you're Bryce, you want to make them hitters.
Yep.
You've got a really good defense behind you. You want to put the ball in, have them put the ball in play. And there's strike number 1 right at the letters. Eric did not like that.
No, he did not.
3 balls and 1 strike. And I'm not sure where that one was, but it was called a ball. So first batter walk for Bryce. And that's going to bring Jordan Ambuski to the plate. Lefty center fielder for the Warriors. And he comes to the plate with a man on first, down 3-0. And there's first pitch strike.
Yeah, Bryce should have the advantage here with the lefty on lefty matchup, the next two batters. So we'll see if he can get a ground ball here and get 2 away.
And that ball is going to get away from Blake. And that's going to be not exactly what we want to do here in the bottom of the 6th. So no balls and 1 strike to Ambuski, but the Warriors have a runner at second base, and Garrett, the rain is starting to come now.
Yep.
And there's a pop-up that's going to get out of play. And so Bryce up early, no balls and 1 strike. Or no balls and 2 strikes. And just like that, they're going to call him off the field.
Yeah, I wonder if wonder if we're going to go in a little bit of a delay here. I know it is after the 5th inning. Isn't the rule after the 5th inning if there's a weather, they have to cancel the game because of the weather? I think that would give CSP the win.
Yeah.
If it's after the 5th inning.
Yeah, actually, they called that. Really, I mean, it's raining, but I don't necessarily know. It's easy for us to say because we're up in the booth, but
yeah,
I mean, it's not raining hard out. But anyways, we're in a little bit of a rain delay here, and we're just going to update you a little bit on the standings. So, entering today, CSP comes into the game with a record of 13-3 overall. 12-2 in league, with their 2 league losses being to Frewsburg and to Brockton. And they will that finds them in 4th place in Class C behind Gowanda, who has a 15-2 record, 12-2 in league, followed by Portville at 12-2 in both league and overall. And then there's Frewsburg in the number 3 slot at 16-3, 13-1 in league, with that 1 league loss happening Tuesday night in Clymer against these same CSP Wolfpack. So pretty top-heavy, what I would say is top-heavy Class C. Those top 4 really kind of have separated themselves from the rest of the group. And but we'll find out tomorrow what the seeding and playoff schedule is. We know that Monday night is pre-quarterfinals. I would maybe be a little surprised if CSP plays a pre-quarterfinal, but it's possible. And then Tuesday, Wednesday are Tuesday is the quarterfinals, with the makeup rain day being on Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday is the semifinals. So we'll be next week will be an exciting week for the Wolfpack as we enter Class C playoffs, see how they can stack up against some of the top teams here in Class C. And with that, Garrett, we'll as we are in rain delay, we're going to allow some of our sponsors to give you their messages, and we'll be right back after that.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
This Wolfpack broadcast is brought to you in part by Cornerstone Restaurant and Bakery at 104 East Main Street in Sherman. The Cornerstone offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and baked goods. The phone number is 716-234-4002, or find them on Facebook. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks the Cornerstone in Sherman for their support.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Clymer Hardware and Home Center. Serving the Clymer area since 1873 with all your hardware needs at 8746 West Main Street and online at ClymerHardwareandHomeCenter.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack from Clymer Hardware and Home Center.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new heat-treated and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
And welcome back, and for those on Facebook Live, you can tell that the CSP Wolfpack defenders are back out on the field, and so that must mean we're going to get things started here relatively quickly. That rain, that quick little shower did not last very long, and although it appears to be sprinkling a little bit, overall it's not bad. And now, the only thing I would say, Garrett, is I would imagine this turf probably gets a little slick when it gets wet.
Yeah, I wondered why they called it so fast because, normally you would call it when, you were on dirt or anything like that or grass, but this is turf. And, I called some college games where there's been some rain and they've played through it because there's no reason to stop the game because, you have turf built in for a reason. So I was kind of surprised on how quickly they called, the players off the field, but there was no lightning in the area, and it was just a short rain shower. So hopefully Bryce can get into a rhythm and CSP can refocus and finish this game out.
So as we resume play here, there's no outs here in the bottom of the sixth. CSP leads by a score of 3-0, and Bryce is going to face. Where's my sheet go here?
Ambusky. Yep.
And he's got Ambusky at no balls and 2 strikes. We want to thank our DJ for the day. He's been fantastic on the music in between innings and batters, and as you can probably hear on the radio, so appreciate that. And there's a big swing and a miss, so much needed strikeout for Bryce Hinsdale for out number 1, and that's going to bring number 3, Jackson Ross, the DH, to the plate with now 1 out and a runner at second base.
Yeah, Bryce is going to have to be a little bit careful. He doesn't want to leave something over the middle of the plate where Ross can drive it and drive that run in, so he'll have to be selective with his pitches.
Yeah, there's a curveball high and inside that Ross got out of the way of.
Yeah, he's trying to come inside and then have that breaking ball go into the middle of the plate, but just it's kind of aimed right at him, to be honest with you. Really was no location on that.
Yeah, just not necessary at this point.
No.
And if I'm Coach Moreno, because the only reason that Herrick is at second base is because of a pass ball trying to pick him off at first.
Yep.
So I'm not sure. You'd think Bryce would have learned from that first experience.
Well, normally that's a call coming in from the dugout. So, I don't know if that's totally on Bryce, but, I'd have to agree with you. There's no reason that ball's fouled off.
The ball's fouled off. Then whether it's Bryce or Coach Moreno, I disagree with the decision.
Yes, I agree as well. I will agree with you as well.
With a 3-0 lead and Bryce sort of in a little bit of a groove. And we're getting a report that foul ball shattered the back windshield of a GMC, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's why you kind of think long and hard about where
you want to park.
Where you want to park.
Yeah. So now Bryce down 2-1. It's going to be important here to get even and not fall down 3-1.
And there's a pop-up to right field, and Caden Beckerink, after going back, is coming in, and he's going to make the catch. And Herrick is going to stay at second. So nice job by Caden Beckerink playing his right field position. And good job by Bryce to force the pop-up there. And after the leadoff walk and then the throwing error, Bryce is one batter from getting himself out of this little mess. And that's going to bring number 4, Zavon Tucker, to the plate.
Yeah, just a well-executed pitch, and Ross missed it, and I don't really know where that missed, Dad. That's a strike.
Must be low there.
Had to have been, but that looked like a pretty good pitch. If I'm Bryce, I go right back to that spot.
1 ball, no strikes to Tucker. CSP leads by a score of 3-0, and that ball's in the dirt. Good job by Grant Lictus stopping that. So now 2 balls and no strikes on Tucker. 2 outs here with a runner on second base. And that ball's high and outside. So Bryce down early, 3 balls and no strikes to Tucker with Jackson Tarr on deck.
Now, if I'm Bryce, I'm not giving him something right over the heart of the plate to hit. I got to locate something good here. And obviously that's a walk there, but he has a base open, and he knows that. So now you can move on to the next batter and not worry about that.
Second walk of the inning, but really no harm if you're Bryce, and that's going to bring number 10, Jackson Tarr, to the plate as Salamanca looks to dig into this lead of the Wolfpack, who lead by a score of 3-0 here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. If you're Bryce, you're looking for a ground ball or a pop-up here.
Yeah, you gotta make him a hitter. You got that good defense behind you. Don't worry about anybody on base. Just make him a hitter.
And there he hits him. So that's going to now load the bases for Salamanca. And that's going to bring number 15, Corry Holleran, to the plate. And Coach Moreno wants to have a brief conversation with Bryce. He hasn't been, I will say, he has not been as sharp following the rain delay as he was. And I think Coach Moreno is just telling him to relax, throw strikes, and let the guys behind him play defense.
No, and that's why I was kind of upset that they called that rain delay so fast, is because Bryce was in a rhythm. He was up 0-2, and he was on his way to getting that batter out and staying in that groove, and now the rain delay kind of got him out of it. So he just needs to focus on throwing strikes here, make him a hitter, and see if he can get out of this by himself.
Yeah, ball inside, so 1 ball and no strikes to Holleran. Now with the bases loaded, that moves Bryce back into the windup, so that may help him here. And there's a strike on the outside part of the plate, and that's that 3 or 4 inches off the plate that's kind of been a strike all day long.
Yeah.
1 ball and 1 strike. And that's a nubbler, a foul down the first base side off the end of the bat. So Bryce up early, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's see if he can handle this himself.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of pitch selection he wants to go here, because Hollerman's seen the fastball now twice, both for strikes, and we'll see if Bryce wants to go with that slurve or if he wants to take a little bit off of it and throw a changeup.
And there's a base hit to left field, and that's going to drop, and that's going to score 2. So Salamanca gets on the board here in the bottom of the 6th. And Garrett, that unfortunately, that was, I think he did go to that curveball, but up 0-2, you'd like to, or even 1-2, you'd like to put that ball somewhere not necessarily right over the strike zone. So.
No, I agree with you, and it was a good piece of hitting. You got to give credit to the hitter. I think that was a good piece of hitting by Holleran and just left too much of the plate. So, he's not out of the woods yet here. He's still got a 1-run lead. He wants to keep it that way going into the top of the 7th.
So 3-2 Wolfpack with 2 outs here in the 6th. And there's a ground ball to short, and that's going to be an easy out to second. So CSP gets out of the inning as Salamanca strands 2, but they get through across the board, and after 6, CSP leads 3-2. We'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Clymer Hardware and Home Center, serving the Clymer area since 1873 with all your hardware needs at 8746 West Main Street and online at clymerhardwareandhomecenter.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack from Clymer Hardware and Home Center.
Welcome back to Salamanca, New York, where we've got a fantastic baseball game here as CSP leads by a score of 3-2 as we enter the top half of the 7th inning. And CSP is going to bring 2, 3, 4 hitters to the plate, and they're going to see a new pitcher. So the third pitcher of the day for Salamanca, and it's going to be number 1, Jake Herrick.
Yeah, we'll see if Bryce can help himself out here a little bit. He kind of got out of his rhythm due to the rain delay, so we'll see if he wants to use that to his advantage and kind of motivate him here to get on base, because he's kind of struggled at the plate today. After he popped out to the third baseman, he walked and had a chopper to the first baseman.
So CSP, as we mentioned this earlier, Garrett, this could not have been a better game to play just before the playoffs.
No, that's right.
Competitive against a good team, and puts CSP hitters and fielders in positions that they're going to see as they try to make a run to the state Final Four like they did last year. And so Bryce is going to step into the plate and step into the box to face Herrick. And that first pitch is going to be outside for ball 1. As I mentioned, third pitcher of the day for the Warriors. Urbanski started, and there's a pop-up to center field, and center fielder's underneath it, and that's out number 1. And
shortstop, number 4.
If there's anything as a hitting slump, Bryce is in it right now.
Yeah, you could tell he's frustrated. He kind of threw his bat off to the side. He's just not seeing the ball well right now, and that's something that you don't want to have happen heading into playoffs. But we'll see if he can get some stuff figured out before Tuesday.
And there's a ground ball to short, and he's going to come up throwing, and good stretch there by number 13, McGraw. And that's going to be 2 quick outs here in the top of the 7th. And Trent Berchanowski is going to come to the plate for the Wolfpack as they have 1 out here remaining in the 7th.
Yeah, not something you want if you're CSP, because Bryce just threw kind of his hardest inning of work, and that ball is right behind Trent. Lucky he got out of the way of that. But going back to my point, you kind of want to give Bryce a little bit of a rest here, because Salamanca's got the momentum after they scored 2 runs in the bottom half of the 6th. So we'll see if Trent can get on base and kind of extend this inning a little bit longer than it was trending to be.
So 1 ball and no strikes to the senior from Clymer. And there's a strike in there to even the count at 1. The rain has subsided and turned into another nice evening here. And there's a curveball that didn't necessarily curve much. And so 2 balls and 1 strike. He's tried to throw that curveball a couple times, Garrett, unsuccessfully. So I would think he's going to come back with a fastball. And that's what it was. And Trent just missed it by a hair, foul. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, 3-2 Wolfpack lead.
Yeah, he's right on it. We'll see if what selection the pitcher wants to go here.
And there's that curveball on the outside part of the plate that's been a strike all night. And CSP goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th, and CSP 3 outs away from picking up a big win. And with that, we'll be right back after these messages.
Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher's Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
This broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is provided by Land Pro Equipment, the area's authorized John Deere dealer, located at 1756 Lindquist Drive, Faulkner, and 8926 West Main Street in Clymer. Online at landproequip.com. They specialize in agriculture, lawn and garden, and light industrial equipment. The Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream thanks Land Pro Equipment for their support.
Welcome back to the bottom of the seventh inning, where CSP is clinging to a 3-2 lead as Bryce Hinsdale comes in to see if he can close out the game with a save after Austin White goes 4 scoreless innings. And Bryce is going to face a pinch hitter, Cruz Catanese, a lefty, and that ball is inside for ball 1. 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the lineup for the Warriors here in the bottom of the 7th. And there's strike 1 across the plate. So 1 ball and 1 strike to the pinch hitter.
And you've kind of been talking about it, Dad. This is the perfect game for not only the hitters and the fielders, but the pitchers as well.
And there's a slow roller to short. Austin's going to come up throwing, and he's going to be off balance, and that's going to get the leadoff runner on with an infield single. The ball wasn't hit very hard, Garrett, but
nope,
it was hit nonetheless, and that's going to put leadoff man on here with CSP leading 3-2.
Yeah, if I'm Bryce, I keep pounding that strike zone. That wasn't a bad pitch. It just hit off the end of the bat, and just unlucky for him. And we'll see if he can get out of this jam. Maybe generate another ground ball. Hopefully, he can turn a double play.
Turn a double play. Yep. So that's going to bring McGraw to the plate, number 9 hitter, and he's looking to play a little small ball and put the bunt down and advance Catanese. And Coach Herrick wants to call quick time. There may have been some signals that were crossed up there.
Yeah, last thing you want if you're Salamanca is a missed signal, and a play happens that you don't want to have happen.
So 3-2 CSP leads, and you're in the bottom of the 7th. No outs, and Salamanca gets the leadoff runner batter on with an infield single. And there's ball 2, so 2 balls and no strikes for Bryce.
Yeah, he just has to make these hitters. You don't want to really issue any walks here. That could put you in a bigger jam.
And there's a strike on the outside part of the plate. And if you're Bryce, that's where you want to live, yep, because that's been a strike all day, and it's 3-4 inches off the plate. But he's been consistent with that call.
Yeah. Dad, I just don't think Bryce is very good at throwing the ball over to first. And I just don't, that one was a little nerve-wracking, a little high. There's no reason to just no reason to do it. To have an unforced error.
So 2 balls and 1 strike to the batter. And he bunts foul, so he's unable to get the bunt down. And that's going to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. That ball was on the outside part of the plate. Very difficult spot to bunt.
Yeah. So, Bryce sees that. Now he has to attack the batter here and try and get it to 1 out at least. So then that double play is in order that could possibly end the game and you get out of a jam.
So 2-2 here to the batter. And there's a foul, so McGraw stays alive with the foul back behind the press box.
That's a good battle going on here between McGraw and Hinsdale, and we'll see if Bryce can somehow win the battle here. I don't think you go anything other than fastball here. You go with your best pitch and see if you can go mano-a-mano here.
And there he struck him out with a high fastball.
Well, Dad, I'm going to stand corrected because that was not a fastball. That one was his breaking pitch, and I just don't think that was a strike. To be honest with you.
No, but the most important guy who needs to think it's a strike thought it was a strike.
Yep, that's right.
So 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th, and that's going to bring the top of the order, Jake Herrick, to the plate. And that ball is just on the outside part of the plate. I'm telling you, he is very consistent with 3 to 4 inches. Yep. If it's 5 or 6 inches, then he's very good at determining that.
Right.
It's just not a strike.
Yep.
And it's been that since first inning. And that ball's outside. So 2 balls and no strikes to Herrick.
Well, here's the thing, Dad. The worst thing that this home plate umpire could do is see the third base coach for Salamanca complaining about a pitch and then go away from what he's been consistent with the entire game.
Yep.
And that's another strike. That's another pitch that's been a strike the whole game. And just because the Salamanca coach is complaining about one pitch doesn't mean you have to change what your strike call is. And now you put the guy in a hole 3-0, and he's really got to dig out of it now.
3 balls and no strikes. 1 out here, 3-2 CSP in the bottom of the 7th. And there's a first pitch strike there. So 3-1. See if Bryce can fight his way back here.
And the rain's starting to come down. So
and that ball's high. So that's Southwestern gets runners at first and second. And Coach Marino wants to have a conversation, as Bryce is going to face 2 lefties here coming up.
Yeah, it's a very quick conversation. I think, I don't think Bryce needs to be ashamed of what that at-bat was last time, because he really didn't get any help from the home plate umpire. So I don't think he really needs to be ashamed. I think he needs to keep throwing strikes and make these Salamanca hitters hit the ball and put it in play.
So 3-2 CSP leads here in the bottom of the 7th, but Salamanca is threatening with runners at first and second with 1 out. Bryce could use a ground ball here, Garrett, or a pop-up. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 1. And I'm not sure I go too far off of that, because that was not a good-looking swing there.
Nope, I'm going to have to agree with you.
And this is number 2, Jordan Nambuski for the Warriors. And there's strike 2. So Bryce attacking early.
Yeah, this pitch can't be anywhere near the zone, because if it is and they do get a hit, it's probably scoring 1 and it's a tie game. But you don't really want to give him an opportunity on 0-2 to get a hit.
So no balls and 2 strikes, and that ball is exactly
pitch.
where you thought it was going to be, which is low and outside.
Yep.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes to the number 2 hitter, Ambuski.
And now I think you go back with the fastball, because he struggled with it in the first 2 pitches. So see if you can go back with the fastball and get a strikeout.
Something at the letters would be good here. And that was low. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So if you're Bryce, you want to go right back at him here after 2 balls. So 2-2 with 2 men out, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. And there's a swing and a miss. So much needed strikeout for Bryce Hinsdale. So that's going to be now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And that's going to bring big Jackson Ross, the DH, to the plate. So lefty on lefty matchup. And CSP just 1 out away here from notching win number 14. And there's a ground ball, and that's going to be a base hit, and it's going to come up throwing. Gabe's going to come up throwing. And that ball is going to score. So Salamanca is going to score on the hit. So that's going to tie it. That's going to tie it at 3 here.
Yeah, just first pitch swinging. And this game's all knotted up.
And that's going to bring number 4, Zavon Tucker, to the plate. And with 2 outs, Salamanca's got runners at second and third. So any sort of hit here is going to end this game.
Yep. Bryce just has to focus on the batter and see if he can get him on a strikeout or a pop out or a ground ball. Just has to focus on the batter. The runners are out of play now.
And that first pitch is ball inside. A little surprised, Garrett, that Bryce isn't going to the stretch or the windup. But
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if maybe he adjusts.
So 1 ball, no strikes. And there's a base hit to short. He comes up throwing, and that's going to get away from the first baseman, and that's going to end the game. So Salamanca comes back from a 3-2 deficit to win the game 4-2 as they got a ground ball to short and were not able to make the throw.
Yeah, just unfortunate for the Wolfpack as they played a really good game the entire time. Little slow on offense. They got those 3 insurance runs, but a few walks issued by Bryce, and Salamanca was able to rally back. It's a tough loss. It's a tough loss. Salamanca's a good team, and you let them hang around and get extra base runners that they don't need to have. That's what happens.
Yep. So CSP with a tough loss to end the regular season, non-league, and so good competition as we head into the playoffs. And CSP more than likely looks to play Tuesday night, but they'll enter with an L in the loss in the mark in the loss column, and will finish the regular season at 13-4 and finish the overall or the league record at 12-2. So strong regular season for your Wolfpack. Garrett, any final thoughts as we head out?
Yeah, just CSP hitters weren't able to adjust to Zavon Tucker when he came onto the mound. Threw a lot of curveballs, a lot of fastballs, and the breaking ball was really what was killing her. And CSP, the top of the order, you kind of wish that they had some better performances as Bryce and Gabe and Trent both go 0 for 4. So just unfortunate that you end the regular season on a loss, but you have to push this behind you. You have to get back and get to practice on Monday and really adjust for who you're going to play on Tuesday. And you just have to forget about this because it really, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter at all. In the seeding, you're going to still be the 4 seed when it heads into playoffs. So you just have to keep the same offense that you've had going on all year, trying to get back to that offensive mentality you had against Pine Valley instead of tonight where they were kind of aggressive in their at-bats. So, but it was fun being able to do these last 3 games in the regular season for CSP with the big win on Tuesday and the win yesterday, but just unable to get it out with a win here tonight in Salamanca. It's still a great night for baseball, and it's definitely going to be a good learning experience for CSP heading into the playoffs.
So CSP with a tough loss here in Salamanca, New York, as they end their regular season. For Garrett Hinsdale, I'm Kyle Hinsdale. CSP with a 4-3 loss in Salamanca. Appreciate you listening. Be on the lookout on Facebook for the playoff schedule, and we'll be broadcasting those games to you. And look forward to seeing if CSP can make a long run in the playoffs. So for Garrett Hinsdale, I'm Kyle Hinsdale. CSP with a 4-3 loss here in Salamanca. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 989 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by J. Edwards Insurance in Panama and Jamestown, Mosher Carpeting in Clymer, Land Pro Equipment in Clymer and Falconer, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, the Cornerstone Restaurant in Sherman, Clymer Hardware and Home Center.com, Triple E Manufacturing, TripleEMFG.com, Countertop Solutions, and by Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer, LictusOilandPropane.com. Tune in next time for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball.